And we're live.
Do we want to be live?
That's a good question. First things first. Hello, everybody. We're finally back.
Kind of. This is a completely separate show.
Sort of. We're doing a bit of a revive and a bit of a reboot with the channel. We'll be discussing more of that later in October. But this is a completely new, separate show that our co-host my co-host Jacob here, or main host, whatever you want to call him, came up with, where we select a certain show on Netflix and
or any streaming site, really. I kind of thought of it as like a universal thing.
Yeah, or something like that. And we binge watch it and do these mini sort of vlogs on them and discuss our thoughts on them. We figured this was kind of a better way of doing it than we usually did back on the podcast when we first started out, where we would have mini sections devoted to certain episodes. So that way, with this, we have whole episodes dedicated to whole episodes, and we can express our thoughts more fluently and more, I don't know, directly, I guess, without need of worrying about time and stuff. Also, if you notice the new change in the location, it's because I've recently gone for a move from the East Side with the East Hampton. And yeah, that's about it. So today,
if you notice, my setup is a little bit different. Well, from Master Tunes, like the last time you saw me on Master Tunes, that's because I got a different laptop and got me a microphone. And so today,
do you want to explain what we watched first, or should I?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right.
We watched episode 1. An exciting beginning of Glitter Force.
Now, if you don't know what Glitter Force is, it is an anime.
I envy you.
Well, and it's an anime, I think, exclusively on Netflix currently, made by Toei Animation, which I'm not sure what they're.
Toei Animation. They do stuff like they did like a Dragon Ball, One Piece, stuff like that. And well, technically speaking, it was brought over here by Saban, and if anybody knows that, and that name should be very familiar to basically any '90s kid ever. Like they, I think they owned like Fox Kids for a good chunk of their time. Like they had like Power Rangers. Did they have Ninja Turtles at one point? I think they did have Ninja Turtles.
The reboot one, or was it like one of the old series?
It was the Next Mutation.
Ah, okay.
And they also have like Digimon, which, by the way, Digimon Adventure Try. I have no idea if it's any good, but if anybody wants to let me know, leave a comment down below.
Right.
And so yeah, they've been dormant for a good chunk of the 2000s, mostly because I think Disney bought them out. And 4Kids took over their Saturday morning block on Fox. So they basically remained dormant until I think early 2010, 2011, where they came back as Saban Brands and started coming out with new shows. And looking at the new shows, nothing changed at all. Like nothing, I mean, the technology evolved. They have new Power Rangers shows, and I think they have a new Digimon show. Changed, nothing evolved. They're still kind of back in the 90s. I think like the officers are playing like Creed or something, or like Stone Temple Pilots, or maybe NSYNC Hanson.
Wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. So anyway, yeah, it's made by them. It's exclusively on Netflix. I question if it was originally supposed to be on Netflix, but we'll get more into that later.
We'll get into that.
So basically, the show is about this. If you've seen any form of little girl fights evil anime, it's sort of that premise, except this time it's with storybook characters. Well, kind of, but we'll get more into that later. Again, follows this one girl who, while walking home from school one night after having this vivid dream of her being part of this glitter force, ends up with this flying book, hits her in the face, and this magical creature comes out of the book, and then...
Okay, you're kind of going a bit too fast. Okay, let me try. I'm
going as fast as the actual episode went.
Granted, I will grant you that. I will grant you that, but I will try to summarize in a much more orderly fashion because clearly this episode did not do the episode's job for it. That's how bad it is, folks. Basically, the episode starts off with a girl named Emily, who one night is dreaming about being part of this group of people called Glitter Force, who are essentially a group of young girls who, I guess, save the world or something. I don't know. From what I understand, it was like a frequent dream, right?
It was a frequent dream that happened beforehand.
Okay, and so, but she starts running late. And I guess she had moved from another town, which actually makes it fitting in your case because you moved.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
So she's getting ready for her first day of class, I guess, and
was it ever established that this was her first day of class? Because she clearly did an introduction, but they never establish it.
They did. I think the teacher said like she was like a new transfer student or something.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And so she's running, and she has like this weird feel of like she's frantically running, and then she suddenly calms down after seeing a butterfly. You wish that was comedy, folks. You wish that was comedy. And she's like, hey, maybe something magical will happen right around the corner. And she looks right around the corner. Oh, nothing. Cut to black.
Okay, this is where we're going to come into more of my question of whether or not this was originally supposed to be on Netflix or not. Because there are points in the episode where it clearly cuts to black for a commercial break or something like that, but it just randomly cuts back to the rest of the episode like nothing happened.
Maybe this was like intended for like a separate Netflix subscription that has commercials? But Netflix doesn't provide that. If this was like on Hulu or something, maybe I could see it.
Yeah, that would make sense because they, have the thing that has the commercials for justify your subscription and stuff like that. But like, Netflix, really?
Netflix, I don't think they have that. And then she suddenly looks up to the sky and sees a book, and the book opens up, and there's this thing. I think they said, what was it, fairy or pixie or something?
Something along those lines. Like, just think like any magical companion, cute character from any Final Fantasy game, slap it in some anime eyes on it, or even bigger anime eyes on it. Have it voiced by, I think, Tara Strong, and you'll have what it is.
Tara Strong doing like a weird mixture of like Timmy Turner and Bubbles and Dill. Like basically all three at once.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds a lot like this.
That's pretty accurate. Like, he's not lying. That's almost point for point exactly.
I wish I was lying. Folks.
By the way, we're not just bullshitting this. This isn't like bullshit we normally do on the site. This is an actual show that you can watch.
If you get a subscription to Netflix, which I think is, what is it, like $9.99, $10.99, something like that.
That.
You can have a subscription. You can watch the show. Technically free of charge.
Anyway, continue on explaining what.
And this character just says,
"Hi, Minnie. My name is Candy. I'm a fairy from the land Jubaland."
And no joke. And the girl, Emily, thinks, oh, it's so cute. Like, she's a hug and squeeze it. And the pixie fairy thing is just like, well, see ya. And it just like leaves.
Yeah.
And so she goes, oh, but she has the book, and she goes, yay, I found a magical creature, just like in the fairy tales or something like that. It kind of makes me wish that I was watching Fairy Tale right about now.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So she goes to class where she has a hard time, introducing herself, including
it gets so bad that she can't even introduce her own name without someone from the class coming in to introduce her. Who, by the way, who just happened to be the sailor. No, not sailor. whatever the hell you want to call them, from her dream that apparently
glitter something. Actually, the whole group is there.
Yeah, not just like one of them, the whole group, like the whole ragtag. We got we got red chick, the blue one haired girl. I'll forget out. Yellow. We got Fluttershy. I guess we have the
green one who is named April.
And guess what her glitter name happens to be? Glitter Spring. Get it? April Spring. Like, ha ha.
As an aside, I love the fact that this is a show. This is front. I love the fact that this is a show from Netflix in 2016 that uses the same sort of dub patterns that were utilized by Deke for Sailor Moon in like 1995.
So let's work it out. 2 decades later, we're still using the same tactic when it comes to dubbing little girl fighting evil anime.
You know, you think with something like, fucking Madoka Magica or something like that. We gone past that. No. And so basically, we have a bunch of these girls who I think, like, there was, there's Emily, there's April, I think one was named Luna, and there was Kelsey. All these girls, Emily, Kelsey, April.
Yeah, exactly.
You could clearly see that they're not in America. They're in Japan. Trying to, like, they're still trying to get away with it. Like, guys, 4Kids closed down a few years back. Well, technically they're still a thing, but still, they're not what they used to be. They've grown up, essentially. We've all gotten past that. The only show I could think of that still has that sort of thing is Pokemon, and even then, that's because it's been going on for I think in close to 20 years. It can do that shit. It doesn't care.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the plot. Whatever there is. Keep in mind, we're doing a better job explaining all of this than the actual episode does. Just letting you all know.
Yeah, we're oh god.
Okay, so after this whole introduction scene, she enters a library looking for a book about dreams.
Oh, well, technically speaking, the reason why she did that was because, she was getting all happy because now she made some new friends, like in her fairy tales, and everybody's looking at her like, oh, fucking nuts. Like,
she's the type of character you would find in like any other movie or TV show that would be like the really weird, off-putting character that would be used for like a side joke. But instead, she's the main lead, so...
I would want to say, like, she's a mixture of... would you say... Oh, good Christ. You have seen one of these movies. I have not. You've seen both of these movies. I have not. I've only seen one of them. Would you say she's like a mixture of Judy Hopps from Zootopia and... What was her name? Jillian from the Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh, Jillian Holtzman. Yeah, sort of. I kind of describe her more along the same line of the same... character that was introduced in the Sailor Moon dub, except like somehow even more annoying, but not nearly as irritating. It's weird to explain, but after that she enters this library looking for a book about dreams because she thinks it's weird that she saw the people that were in her dream. Why did she?
What were you saying?
Why didn't she just go to the psychology section of the library instead, not just like randomly go up to the first bookcase? There is beyond me, but I'm not a writer, so...
So she goes over and she finds a book called, I think it was The Library of Legends, which to any League of Legends fans, I'm so sorry. But also we were saying to her, and because it starts emanating like this magical glow when she's getting close to it, and I just said to George, do you think anybody actually like picked up the book beforehand and like suddenly had that happen to them?
Yeah, like how many people have been sucked into this magic library that just happened to like be removed from the stupid book that happens to be there? It comes to think, does the book ever come back into play, or was it like just a thing she had to remove in order to get to the portal?
Maybe it comes back in like later episodes. I don't know.
All right.
So suddenly she gets transported to this magical portal, but keep in mind, okay, you would think it would just be because she picked up the book, right? No.
What she actually has to do in order to enter this world is move one stack of books to the left, or the right, one to the left, and then open them like that.
It's like you have to reorganize everything to make this thing work. Like, dude, that's like overly complicated. Just like grab out the book.
Exactly. Like it plays on the classic like book in passageway. Why go for this elaborate book pushing mechanism in order to open the magic portal?
I know. I'm trying to say. I know. I'm telling the show to kind of make things a little bit simpler, make things a little bit easier, considering the fact that it's been going at this rate of like 500 miles an hour.
Yeah, what we're describing happens like the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So she goes into this magical realm, which is a library, and she's I don't know if I would say completely normal about it. I mean, she did seem a little bit weirded out, but she was mostly like, hey, this is so cool, it's so magical and stuff. This is her character, by the way, folks. Like, she's like overly whimsy. That's the best way I could describe it.
She makes Pinkie Pie look subtle.
Oh, she's pink.
Oh. Oh, I'll bring that up too. Anyway.
She suddenly comes across... Was it like she suddenly comes across a book, like that very book? Like she had before? And it suddenly starts talking to her. It's like, a book could talk? Well, if a book can fly, I guess.
It's probably the Necronomicon.
It was never meant for those. Oh my god, can you imagine the Glitter Force but with Bruce Campbell in this? You are part of the Glitter Force. Groovy.
And I got him with a chainsaw, but he's wearing like the same outfit as the rest of the girls.
And so she, the book starts talking, and it's basically the Queen of Jubiland, the world of happy endings. And it's if you know these kinds of shows, you know this basic plot. This magical world which was full of peace and happiness. That's something fucked up.
Yeah.
Basically, some guy by the name of No-Go started coming in, and he basically wrecked shit up, and,
or as they put it, made their endings unhappy.
Yeah, that's the kind of theme we're going here with, folks.
Quality writing right there.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation made unhappy endings for everybody.
If anyone want to find something ironic about a show that centered on books, ironically has some of the worst writing imaginable.
I love the fact that the name of the show doesn't even imply that it's about books or fairy tales.
Exactly. Like
it's Glitter Force. So there's this guy named No-Go who's like, I guess, I don't know, did he like take over the land of Jubiland, or was it like,
I don't know, I think it was implied that he was entrapped and then suddenly his minions are breaking free, who happen to be fairy tale creatures, and the first one we see is the big bad wolf. Well, during his anime phase, the big bad wolf.
Yeah, his emo phase, actually.
Well, yeah. And then after that, I think that they get a certain amount of negative energy by rewriting bad endings onto the world. They are able to release him from his... You've seen this plot before, so let's just sum it up at that.
Bad guy gets captured. His friends want him out.
That's pretty much it. After
So
that, and...
So yeah, so this book basically tells her, look, I'm the queen. I don't have a lot of time here. Things are going downhill fast. You and like these other girls over here. You gotta find them. You gotta save this, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta. Things are not going well. Just go. Go save the world or some shit. This is getting annoying.
Exactly. So then after that, we have our first action scene where the big bad wolf takes this book and not even writes on it. He just splats ink all over the page of it, and all of a sudden, like it's suddenly nighttime, and everyone's getting their negative thoughts drained out of them for some ungodly reason.
Hey man, don't be dissing, the effectiveness of splotching like oil onto the book and having it being like writing. That's how every scripted glitter force is made.
That's a good point.
So, by the way, I should mention as well, because I was unlike George, who had the smart idea of just kind of going through all the insanity. I was actually kind of keeping track of some of the names, well, most of the names anyway. The little fairy thing was named Candy. The girl was named Emily. The wolf, I think they said his name was Ulrich.
I think so, but he's implied to be the big bad wolf from Red Riding Hood, so I think that's why I came up with that thing.
Okay, yeah. So, now you know the name Ulrich. You're probably going to be making less jokes about Little Red Riding Hood and more jokes about Metallica.
Come figure, it does look like Metallica. From the way he's designed, it's kind of like a Metallica thing. Actually, if there's anything actually positive about the show, I actually think the animation's not that bad, especially for like straight to Netflix kind of thing. Like it's fluid, it looks nice. The designs they're generic, but they still look fine as it is.
It's a humble little looking show. It's
just a shame. No.
Well, granted, I think the saddest thing is it's Toei, and Toei's been, if anybody knows the news about like Dragon Ball Super and One Piece, well, they are not doing well animation-wise for most of their shows. So it's weird that they're actually like kind of putting some time, a bit of effort into this.
Yeah. But I think it's because it's Netflix, it gives them more freedom to like make them each one sitting instead of like individual times focusing on them.
Well, actually, here's my question. Did Netflix actually commission this show, or did they just pick up the rights to it?
That's what I was wondering, because again, we have that whole thing with the scene transition. So was this originally like being planned for TV, and then Netflix came in and took the rights for it, or?
I know this tends to happen a lot with like kids shows where like they already make the show like in advance, like because it's airing in Japan.
Yeah.
And so American distributors will pick it up. So I'm thinking like maybe that's the case. Granted, folks. We're just kind of going blindfolded here. We don't exactly know the whole history of Glitter Force. I think I do, because I did actually I did look up a little bit. I think this was actually part of a series called Pretty Cure. I could be mistaken, but that sounds all right.
Seems roughly around that point. Anyway, after that, we enter, again, the action scene. Then, do you want to describe what happens next, or should I?
Go ahead, be my guest.
The Big Bad Wolf pulls a Yu-Gi-Oh! Not necessarily like pulls a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a card out of his finger, but he pulls like the whole magic monster kind of thing.
He pulls a clown nose out, basically.
He pulls a clown nose out, throws it on the ground, I think, and creates this giant house with a clown face on it that can walk and
out of a brick wall that the girl was hiding behind, Emily.
Okay, that's even weird. It's a wooden house, so wouldn't it make more sense if it was a brick house instead?
Well, specifically, she was hiding behind a brick wall.
Well, yeah, but it's like still the material of brick is the foundation, and he threw it at. So wouldn't it make more sense if he take the form of a brick house?
I think you're giving this show way too much credit.
Good point. Anyway, after that, stuff just happens.
It's well, the weird thing is, like, did you watch Sailor Moon growing up as a kid?
I never watched Sailor Moon growing up as a kid. I watched it like a few years ago, about 3 or 4, when I first joined Mastertoons, and I watched primarily the original subtitles because I could not stand the dub. Okay. But from what I watched, I really did enjoy it. But
well, I've heard like the new English dub that they did is pretty good, but that's another subject for another time. I kind of remember watching a bit of it. Like I remember Cartoon Network airing it when I was like 4 or 5. And well, the weird thing is, like, would you argue this is like similar to or different from like a Sailor Moon fight scene?
I'd say it's kind of different because it doesn't necessarily have the same anticipation for it, if that makes sense. It just kind of happens halfway through the episode, whereas in Sailor Moon, there was sort of like a main arch for the villain's plan and to lead up to that. The big bad guy coming up, and then they have the fight, whereas this one, it just kind of comes in like halfway through the episode.
Yeah, and I will say up front, like, you know, another thing that we might as well bring up, like, in terms of differences between this and Sailor Moon. At least I think the key thing, like, I think these are all middle schoolers. I could be mistaken.
Yeah,
like, much like in Sailor Moon. The key difference, though, like some people, like, you know, many people will make the joke about Sailor Moon. Oh, they're all middle schoolers, yet they look so sexy.
Did you have to say it like that?
This one. I had to. Well, this one, it's if you're really going to get your jaws off to it, you're going to be disappointed for two reasons. One, the characters are actually kind of designed to where they don't look that mature, like in Sailor Moon. Second of all, you know, granted, like a lot of people say that, well, it's because of their Sailor Scout uniforms, so you would think that would be the same thing here. Not exactly, and I think the reason why was because the Sailor Scout uniforms were just kind of basic, you know. They were like, you know, it's basically a skin tight, you know, school outfit. Whereas these were a lot flashier, like they were very bright, very noticeable.
Exactly.
Like extravagant, so you really wouldn't be noticing that factor. So she starts fighting this monster, and well, I say fight. It's kind of like a weird. It turns into like a Looney Tunes short written by somebody who doesn't really watch a lot of Looney Tunes shorts.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so you know the girl starts running away, and the very optimistic, you know, Pixie starts acting pessimistic for some reason. Like, you know, we gotta get away from them.
That's something I never thought I would hear in my life.
And I think like at one point, like the girl starts flying in the air. Mm-hmm. And you pointed this out to me as well. Like the wolf Ulrich, you know, looks up and his eyes like widen, and you just went, what if like the angle that he was looking at was more than just her flying? He was looking up. And I just went, and I remember like the moment before you made that joke. He actually said, "Oh my god," or something along those lines, and I just went, "She's hot."
Oh my god.
Ulrich X Emily OTP.
I can see it happen. Makes you wonder if they're actual like fan art or like fans of the show already, or are we like the first to discover it?
Well, I mean, you know, there were people who came across Voltron Legendary Defender, and there was like tons of fan art of that, and there's like Stranger Things and whatnot. But granted, those are not Glitter Force.
Exactly.
You know, they are nowhere near as good as Glitter Force.
Exactly.
So the brick wall guy is flying, and I think the brick wall like jumps up into the air, or the house, or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a house.
Yeah, and so the girl is just like, yeah. So she just does that push, like, keep away. But it was so strong enough to actually send him back to the ground, and she falls down.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Well, granted, she landed on the clown nose.
True. Because I figure at the height she was at, and the way she fell down onto the clown nose, wouldn't that make the nose like explode?
There you go, adding logic again.
That's my problem. I've watched way too many logical, grounded films recently. So my mind is not used to this normal stuff anymore.
Your dad just got Hitman Agent 47 from your local library, right? You're used to like insanity.
Exactly. Oh god.
Anyway. So, she starts they start talking about, hey, we can make this world a better place or something like that. I forget. Is it during this? Oh, wait a minute. It's actually before the brick house comes in. You pointed this out. There's a bit where the Emily and Candy, the little pixie thing, start talking, and Ulrich at some point just goes, "All right, now I'm bored."
Exactly. Oh boy.
We're kind of going out of order now because at some point I don't think this was ever in order.
Exactly.
There was also a bit where she turns into the glitter force. I think it was Glitter Lucky. Is that what it was?
I think it was Glitter Lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's just looking at her costume and going, "Oh my God, what's going on? I'm pink. Oh, I love pink." And Ulrich just goes,
"Ugh, I hate pink." Like word for word, that's what he says.
like, I was down with this, taking over the world, like causing misery and all that shit. But the superior's got to wear pink. I'm done. I'm fucking done. This is completely unprofessional. Somebody call my agent. I'm out of this project.
I was perfectly fine just like sucking the life out of these people and taking all their energy foster, bringing this giant clock demon to completely destroy reality. But then comes this bitch in her pink girly outfit in the middle of raining on my reign of terror. No, I'm done. No, that's it. I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
Anyways.
So yeah.
So there's a bit where she, they're still fighting.
Yep.
He has like this magic power thing. What is it, like the sparkle cannon? What was it again?
I think it was like sparkle splash, something like that.
A Twilight Sparkle.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so she starts she tries to use it, and it doesn't work. And they're just like, "Wait, what?" So she tries using it again and again, and it turns out she doesn't. She's really trying. She's really trying to make like a happy ending for everybody, and all of a sudden her thing starts and Candy just goes,
You got energy to fill up your dump.
I'll translate what he just said. Basically, what she says, you don't have enough energy or spirit in order to showed out this power at the big monster.
So, and granted, there's a build up to this because she did try to say this before.
Yeah, like in one really minor line. Like it's not even like an entire scene dedicated to it. It's just one line in the middle of an action scene.
Okay.
Okay. I cannot do this justice.
She says, and granted, it's a bit extended from what I'm gonna say. The way that she fills up that compact thingy-majig is going, "Spirit, yes we do. We got spirit. How about you?"
And it actually works.
It works.
It defeats the monster, and it sends the big bad wolf away from him, and now he disappears to cause some more havoc at an orphanage or something.
Okay. First of all, we should bring this up. Like he says, I will have my revenge glitter force, even though it's just one girl.
Exactly. Like it's not. There's not even an entire team yet. It's just one girl. So like.
Second of all, I want you to process that, folks. She managed to fill up her magic power thing to stop this evil monster, save the world. Stereotypical cheerleader chant you could ever think of. Like, there are kindergartners that could write better material than this.
Now, that's a bit of an insult, man. I mean, kindergartners have written some minorly mature stuff, at least more mature than what Hollywood's currently putting out this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think a kindergartner wrote Axe Cop.
Oh my God, that's actually true. The son of the artist kept making up stories and stuff, and so he decided to draw and make an entire comic about it. So
yeah.
How much you want to say? How much you want to bet that's the same process that DC did with Suicide Squad?
Ooh, okay, they got the story from a 5-year-old, and then they got David Ayer to write and direct it, and then they sent it off to be edited by a chimpanzee.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
So-
yeah, that is the first episode of Glitter Force. But it doesn't end there, as she has to say the episode's title. And this is word for word what she says. This wasn't the start of a happy ending. This is an exciting beginning.
And we were like, oh, she said it. She said it. We can go home. And then, oh God, this made me like thoroughly expressed it like when we were watching it, but mentally I was like both laughing in hysterics and raging and screaming in anger. There's the small little music video thing where the Glitter Force are dancing to some song, and I think in the original context, like in the original version, that was intended to be the end credits, and it kind of seemed interpreted that way. It's the end of the episode. They're showing off this nice music video to show off all the credits. Except no credits were showing up.
It's just a elaborate CGI anime dance that you could probably find from looking up on YouTube, and you'll find Gary's mod videos of it.
And we were thinking like, okay, and I was thinking like, is this going to be like, because I had the bit of the unfortunate pleasure of watching this some time ago. The first episode of Yokai Watch, where the credits don't really start coming up in the end credits until like the very end. So I was thinking like, okay, is that what's going on? Is this like, are they like waiting towards like the very end to like showing off the credits? And then the scene ends, and then we get the credits. and I just went, what? And why did you have that scene? What did that offer?
Well, you know how we mentioned that there might be some people that get off to this sort of stuff?
Okay, good point. Well, the weird thing is, like, Sailor Moon did stuff like this too, but here's the thing. It was either to promote the next episode, or, in the case of the original Deke dub, they were providing, they were talking about, the moral of the episode, even though there really wasn't a moral.
Yeah.
It was like, today's episode was about... Actually, what was today's episode about?
That's a good way to summarize the show, actually.
And this, except this, it's just this weird music video. It just comes in out of nowhere, and once it's gone, it's like...
Then end credits.
And credits.
So yeah, that is the first episode of Glitter Force. And now is the almighty question. Are we going to be doing a full series on this? To answer your undying questions, yes, we are.
You know what? This was kind of like along the same lines as like I'm trying to think of like a really noteworthy either movie or TV show that could really like be compared to this. Like I don't know if I would say like Samurai Cop or something like that. It's like something like that that's kind of brainless, but at the same time it's sort of charming in its brainlessness.
I'm trying to make a good example. I've seen one of those recently. Basically, it's a sort of... It's not necessarily very good, but you can tell it's got this weird attraction to it that kind of makes you want to continue watching it. I'm not sure why.
Actually, I think I just remembered one, and it was a show of it was an anime kids show of the completely different gender, males. Nicktoons had a show called Monsuno.
I don't think I've heard of
And when I was in high school, like I just watched that, and I knew that it wasn't very good. I knew it was not very good, but it was the kind of bad that it wasn't even like so bad it's good, but rather it was bad, but it was charming in a way. Like it was brainless, but it had a heart somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Like it had a solid idea for something, and it wanted to tell a good story and had some like clever writing stuff. Did it really work? But it tried. It tried to do its best, and damn it, Glitter Force is kind of the same way. And I'm honestly, I'm kind of curious, like how the story's gonna end.
yeah, same. Because like there's 2 seasons of this thing up, and
yeah, 2 seasons. I wonder, is this gonna be a happy ending or is it an exciting beginning?
It begs the question because you brought this up. There's apparently another kind of little girl anime out there that kind of deconstructs little girl anime as in how it's used in like anime culture.
Oh, I was mentioning Madoka Magica.
Yeah.
And basically it was like this twisted, messed up show. Like, at least from what I understand of it, I haven't seen it myself, but it's apparently like one of the main characters like dies in the first 2 episodes. The cute anime character like that little pixie thing, Candy, I think it was, is apparently like this evil, manipulative like monster and stuff like that.
So yeah, part of me wondered like, is that the route this is gonna go? Like, it's gonna turn into like BoJack Horseman, where it starts out like mildly amusing kind of stuff and like clever, like somewhat character-based comedy, and then it just slowly dives into like a really, really dark and deep construction of this kind of characters and stuff.
Hey, we haven't seen the rest of the episodes. We don't know exactly what's going on, and I'm kind of. I mean, chances are it's probably going to be like simple and cutesy wootsy, but you know what? At the same time, both just to see if it does go that route, and just because it was kind of charming in its own little way. I'm down for watching more of this. This was basically the equivalent of like that. I don't know if I would say that cute klutzy girl you see in town that you kind of want to hang out with.
Yeah.
But it comes pretty close to that. Excuse me. It's not a very good show.
No, it's not.
It's not very good. But you kind of go in with a sense of this. You kind of end off the episode with a bit of a smile on your face. Not like you're howling with laughter. Okay, well, you're gonna be howling with laughter, but at the same time,
all the wrong reasons. We're just gonna say that.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons. But it does end off with you do kind of leave with a bit of a grin on your face, like you go, okay, that was all right, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was a nice fun time.
Now, continue.
It honestly sometimes kind of reminded me a lot of like the old 4Kids dubs, like where I think I even said it to you. The basic motto is, as long as you can make it safe and kid friendly, you could write anything.
Pretty much.
That was like the basic motto of 4Kids. Like, I don't know if you ever like rewatch old 4Kids dubs. It's like a gag dub a lot of times. It's almost practically Comedy Central, but for kids.
That's a good way of looking at it, anyway. Actually,
it's very. It's like the people just had, everybody, like the script writers, the directors, the actors, they just had an off day and just went, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Let's make some noise.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, that's the first episode of Glitter Force. We'll try to keep this up pretty consistently soon. We'll see whenever we'll be able to watch this next. As for news of when we're going to be doing the podcast again, me and Jacob are going to do like a little video announcement of explaining some stuff as soon as we get some more free time on our hands. As for now, we'll just leave you that we're aiming towards an October sort of release for when we're going to be doing more podcasts, depending on what news we get. We'll explain more later. Anyway, so yeah, this was. Oh, continue, Jacob.
Also, in case you're wondering for this, we'll probably try to get more people in here. I just kind of felt like we might as well do this now because now is as good a time as any.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so yeah, that was the first episode of Master Bingers on Glitter Force. We'll be doing more of these as soon as we can. Thank you all for watching, and always hope you're excited for the new reboot.
And let's hope you don't just have a happy ending, but an exciting beginning. All right.
Damn it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.